Did you know that as we age, we sometimes develop habits and behaviors that make us less engaging, less open, and even less attractive, not just physically, but emotionally and socially? Aging is a beautiful journey filled with wisdom, experience, and new perspectives. However, along the way, we might unknowingly pick up behaviors that push others away, limit our happiness, or make us seem less approachable. The good news? These habits are not set in stone. By recognizing them, we can make small but powerful changes to continue leading fulfilling, connected, and inspiring lives. Let's explore 7 common behaviors that can quietly creep in as we age, along with practical ways to overcome them. 1. Becoming too set in our ways. As we grow older, we accumulate wisdom, experience, and personal preferences that shape our worldview. There is great comfort in familiarity, routines that have served us well, habits that bring us stability, and opinions that feel deeply rooted in our personal truths. But without realizing it, this comfort can become a prison, keeping us from experiencing new ideas, relationships, and even joy. It's easy to dismiss change as unnecessary, especially when we have lived long enough to see trends come and go. We may resist technology, believing it's too complicated or irrelevant. We may reject new music, dismissing it as noise, or refuse to try different cuisines because we already know what we like. We might even become hesitant to engage with younger generations, convinced that their values and ways of thinking are too different from our own. But when we close ourselves off to the unfamiliar, we also close ourselves off to growth, connection, and discovery. Being set in our ways can make us rigid, not just in our preferences, but in our relationships. Loved ones may feel unheard when we dismiss their perspectives too quickly. Friends may stop inviting us to new experiences if they expect the answer to always be no. Even within ourselves, we may begin to feel stagnant, trapped in a routine that lacks the excitement of learning something new. But it doesn't have to be this way. One of the greatest privileges of aging is having the freedom to explore without fear of failure. We no longer need to prove ourselves to the world. We can embrace new experiences purely for the joy of them. Trying something unfamiliar doesn't mean abandoning who we are. It simply means allowing ourselves to continue evolving. The next time you find yourself resisting something new, ask yourself, why not? Why not try the new restaurant in town? Why not ask your grandchild to teach you about their favorite hobby? Why not listen to a different kind of music, read a book outside your usual genre, or take a class on something you've never studied before? Growth doesn't have an expiration date. The most vibrant people, regardless of age, are those who remain curious, adaptable, and open to the ever-changing world around them. Staying open-minded is not just about keeping up with change, it's about keeping life rich and meaningful. When we let go of the idea that we must always do things the way we've always done them, we give ourselves permission to experience joy in new and unexpected ways. And in the end, isn't that what life is about? 2. Complaining more than expressing gratitude. As we age, life presents us with inevitable changes, some beautiful, others challenging. Our bodies may not move as easily as they once did. The world around us evolves in ways that feel unfamiliar. People we love may drift away, and time moves forward, sometimes faster than we would like. In the midst of these shifts, it becomes easy, almost natural, to focus on what is wrong rather than what is right. Complaining can become a habit, a way of processing frustration or disappointment. But when negativity overshadows gratitude, it does not just affect our own outlook, it affects the people around us. It happens gradually. We begin noticing aches and pains more than the joy of another day. We speak more about what is missing rather than what remains. Conversations shift from meaningful exchanges to lists of grievances about the weather, the younger generation, the state of the world. At first, people listen with sympathy, but over time, they may start to pull away, weary of the negativity. Complaints have a way of repelling joy, not just from our own lives, but from our relationships. The truth is, life has never been perfect at any age. If we look back, we can see that even in our younger years, we face struggles, disappointments, and uncertainties. Yet, in those times, we found ways to adapt, to grow, to find moments of joy despite hardship. The key to living well at any stage of life is not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of gratitude. Gratitude is not denial. It does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It simply means choosing to see what is still good, what is still possible, what is still beautiful. The practice of gratitude is a discipline, one that requires effort, especially when hardship feels more present than joy. But it is worth the effort. A single moment of gratitude can shift an entire day. When we begin focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, our hearts grow lighter. Conversations become more uplifting, and people are drawn to our presence rather than avoiding it. We do not need grand gestures to cultivate gratitude. It can begin with the simplest things: a warm cup of coffee, the laughter of a grandchild, the comfort of a familiar song. It can be found in the ability to take a breath, to witness a sunrise, to share a memory with an old friend. The more we acknowledge these gifts, the more abundant life feels. Aging is not about what we lose, but about what we still have and what we still have the power to create. By shifting our focus from complaints to appreciation, we do not just improve our own well being, we become a source of light and warmth for those around us. And in the end, isn't that what truly makes life fulfilling? 3. Talking more, listening less. As the years pass, we gather stories of love and loss, triumph and hardship, wisdom gained through experience. We carry these stories with pride, eager to share them with those around us. And yet, in our desire to impart knowledge, to offer advice, to make sense of our past, we sometimes forget the power of silence. We forget that true connection is not just about speaking, but about listening. There is great satisfaction in being heard, in having someone acknowledge our perspective and validate our experiences. But if we speak more than we listen, we risk turning conversations into monologues. Without realizing it, we may interrupt, eager to offer our own experiences as a response. We may assume we know what someone is going to say before they even finish speaking. We may dismiss new ideas, believing that because we have lived longer, we must understand life better. And in doing so, we miss the opportunity to truly hear, to learn, to grow. It's not just about waiting for our turn to speak. It is about being fully present, setting aside our own thoughts and judgments long enough to understand what someone else is trying to say. It is about hearing not just words, but emotions, the unspoken fears, hopes, and dreams beneath the surface. When we listen with intention, we offer others a profound gift, the gift of feeling seen, valued, and understood. One of the great ironies of aging is that while we may long for deeper connections, we sometimes become the very obstacle that prevents them. Younger generations may hesitate to open up, fearing that their words will be met with lectures instead of empathy. Friends may drift away, sensing that conversations have become one sided. Even within our closest relationships, we may find that our voices dominate, leaving little room for others to share their hearts. And yet, when we choose to listen, To truly listen, something remarkable happens. Barriers dissolve, understanding deepens, love grows. Listening does not mean we must agree with everything we hear. It does not mean we must silence our own thoughts indefinitely. It simply means we are willing to hold space for another person's experience, to acknowledge that their perspective is just as valid as our own. And when we do speak, we can do so with more wisdom, more clarity, more impact, because our words will not be echoes of the past, but reflections of a heart that has taken the time to understand. If we wish to be remembered, let it not just be for the stories we told, but for the way we made others feel heard. Let it be for the moments we sat in quiet understanding, offering not solutions, but presence. Because in the end, the greatest conversations are not the ones where we say the most, but the ones where we listen the deepest. 4. Losing touch with old and new friends. Life moves in seasons. In our younger years, friendships often come easily through school, work, or raising families. There are gatherings, phone calls, shared experiences that weave us into the fabric of one another's lives. But as time passes, circumstances change. People move, careers end, loved ones pass, and the steady rhythm of companionship we once relied on begins to fade. Before we realize it, friendships that once felt effortless now require effort, and without intention, we find ourselves growing more isolated, not by choice, but by habit. Losing touch happens quietly. At first, it's small, delaying a phone call, skipping a gathering, assuming there will always be another chance to reconnect. We tell ourselves that friendships will pick up where they left off, but time moves forward, and so do people. The longer we wait, the harder it feels to reach out, and before we know it, the years have created a distance that feels impossible to bridge. It is not that we stop caring, but we convince ourselves that maybe they are too busy, or that too much time has passed, or that they would have reached out if they wanted to. In doing so, we let our own doubts keep us from the very connection we long for. New friendships can feel even more daunting. There is a comfort in the familiar, and making new friends later in life requires vulnerability. It means stepping into conversations with people we do not yet know, opening ourselves up to new personalities, new habits, and new ways of seeing the world. But connection does not have an expiration date, and friendship is not limited to a certain stage of life. The same joy that came from deep conversations and shared laughter in youth is still available to us, but only if we are willing to reach for it. The truth is, relationships require tending. They are like gardens. Without care, they wither, but with attention, they can flourish, no matter how much time has passed. A simple call, a handwritten note, a small gesture of, I was thinking about you, is sometimes all it takes to reawaken a connection that was never truly lost, only neglected. And when it comes to forming new friendships, it is not about finding people who are exactly like us, but about finding people who are willing to share life's journey in all its ups and downs. We were never meant to walk through life alone. Companionship, laughter, the comfort of knowing someone truly sees us. These are things that keep the spirit young, no matter our age. If we find ourselves feeling disconnected, the answer is not to wait for someone to reach out, but to take the first step ourselves. Because in the end, friendship is not about how long we have known someone, but about how willing we are to show up again and again for the people who make life richer. 5. Neglecting personal appearance and health. Aging is a natural process, yet somewhere along the way, Many of us begin to believe that taking care of our appearance and health is no longer as important as it once was. We tell ourselves that we no longer need to impress anyone, that we have earned the right to relax, or that the effort is simply too much. Over time, the small choices we make to skip a walk, to stop dressing with care, to neglect the little rituals that once made us feel vibrant begin to add up. And before we realize it, we have stopped seeing ourselves the way we once did. It is not vanity to care about how we look and feel. In fact, it is one of the most powerful ways we communicate self-respect, not just to others, but to ourselves. When we stop paying attention to our health, we risk losing not only our physical well-being, but also the energy and confidence that make life fulfilling. It is not about trying to look younger or chase an impossible standard. It is about honoring the body that has carried us through every stage of life. Neglect often begins in subtle ways. A missed doctor's appointment here, an extra helping of unhealthy food there, a day without movement turns into weeks and then months. The clothes that once made us feel put together stay in the back of the closet, replaced by convenience rather than care. At first, it may feel inconsequential, but over time, these choices affect the way we see ourselves and the way we engage with the world. The way we present ourselves is not just for others. It shapes the way we move through life. When we take care of our bodies, we feel stronger. When we put effort into our appearance, we feel more confident. And when we stay active and mindful of our health, we retain the independence and vitality that allow us to fully enjoy the years ahead. Health is not just about avoiding illness. It is about maintaining the ability to do the things that bring us joy. It is about being able to take a walk without pain, to play with grandchildren without exhaustion, to wake up in the morning with the energy to engage with the world. These things do not happen by chance. They happen because of the choices we make every day. The good news is that it is never too late to make a change. A short daily walk, a commitment to nourishing foods, a simple routine that makes us feel polished and presentable. These small steps add up to a life that feels richer and more engaged. We are not defined by our age, but by the way we care for ourselves in the time we have. And when we treat ourselves with the same respect and attention we once gave to the things that mattered most, we remind ourselves that we still matter, because we do. 6. Over-relying on the past. As we grow older, the past becomes a place of comfort, a familiar landscape we can revisit whenever the present feels uncertain or unfamiliar. We carry decades of memories of love, loss, triumphs, and lessons learned, and these moments shape who we are. There is a deep satisfaction in remembering, in telling stories of the way things used to be, in reliving moments that made us feel alive. But if we are not careful, we may find ourselves dwelling in the past so much that we begin to lose touch with the life unfolding before us. It is easy to fall into the habit of comparing everything to the way it once was. The world seems different, and sometimes it feels as though it is changing too fast, moving in ways that do not align with what we once knew. We may find ourselves longing for the simplicity of another time, when things felt more predictable, when people seemed kinder, when we felt stronger and more capable. Nostalgia in itself is not a bad thing. It reminds us of the richness of our experiences and gives us a sense of continuity. But when we begin to believe that the best of life is behind us, we risk closing ourselves off to the beauty of what still remains. The past is a foundation, not a destination. It is meant to be a guide, a source of wisdom and strength, but not a place to dwell forever. If we spend too much time looking backward, we may fail to see the opportunities that exist right in front of us. We may miss out on the laughter of today, the connections that are still waiting to be made, the unexpected joys that arise when we allow ourselves to be present in the moment. Living in the present does not mean forgetting the past. It means using the past to enrich our days rather than limit them. It means sharing our stories not as a way to retreat into yesterday, but as a way to connect with others, to inspire, to teach, and to pass on the lessons we have learned. It means remaining curious, engaged, and open to what life still has to offer. There is still music to hear, places to explore, people to love, and lessons to learn. There are still mornings filled with possibility and evenings filled with reflection. The past has given us wisdom, but the present gives us the chance to use it. The best days of our lives are not behind us simply because we have lived many of them. Every day we wake up is a chance to create something meaningful, to laugh, to love, to experience something new. And when we choose to embrace the present with the same passion that we remember the past, we remind ourselves that life is not over. It is still unfolding, and we are still a part of it. 7. Forgetting to have fun and laugh. Somewhere along the journey of life, many of us begin to take things more seriously. It happens gradually, as responsibilities pile up, as losses accumulate, as the weight of experience settles into our bones. We become cautious, reserved, and sometimes even withdrawn, believing that laughter and playfulness are for the young. We convince ourselves that dignity and wisdom require a quiet, measured presence, that joy must be tempered by the realities of life. But in doing so, we unknowingly deprive ourselves of something essential: the ability to feel light, to embrace silliness, to find humor even in the imperfections of life. Laughter is not just an expression of happiness, it is a declaration of resilience. It is a reminder that despite everything we have been through, we still have the capacity for delight. It does not erase hardship, nor does it diminish the significance of life's struggles, but it adds contrast. It allows us to experience the full range of human emotion without getting lost in the heaviness of it all. When we stop laughing, we risk seeing life as nothing more than a series of burdens. We forget that even in the most difficult moments, there is space for lightness, for connection, for joy. Many of us have at some point told ourselves that fun is for younger people, that it is unbecoming to dance freely, to play games, to engage in simple, unstructured joy. We sit on the sidelines watching as children run and laugh, as younger people find reasons to celebrate. We smile at their energy, but tell ourselves that those days are behind us. Yet, deep inside, we still long for that sense of unburdened happiness. We still crave moments where we can let go, where we can laugh until tears stream down our faces, where we can feel the weight of life lift, even if only for a moment. Joy is not something we grow out of. It is something we must choose again and again, no matter our age. Fun does not have to mean reckless abandon. It can be found in small, everyday moments. It can be in the way we tell a story, the way we embrace a hobby, the way we allow ourselves to be surprised. It can be in dancing alone in the kitchen, in singing loudly to a song we love, in sharing an inside joke with an old friend. It can be in the warmth of shared laughter with family, in finding humor even in our own forgetfulness, in embracing the imperfections of life rather than resisting them. When we laugh, we do not just lift our own spirits, we invite others to do the same. We become easier to be around, more enjoyable to talk to, more magnetic in our presence. People are drawn to those who radiate joy, not because they are oblivious to life's difficulties, but because they choose not to let those difficulties define them. Laughter is a bridge, a way to connect across generations, a universal language that reminds us all that no matter our circumstances, we are still alive, still capable of joy. The ability to have fun is not something we lose with age. It is something we allow ourselves to forget. But the beautiful thing about joy is that it is always waiting for us. It does not disappear. It simply waits for us to invite it back in. And when we do, we remember that life is not just meant to be endured, but enjoyed. The years ahead are not just about reflection, but about continuing to create memories, to embrace moments of lightness, to laugh deeply, and to remind ourselves that no matter how much time has passed, we are still very much alive. Final thoughts: aging gracefully and joyfully. Aging is not a slow fading into the background, nor is it a gradual surrender to time. It is a transformation, one that is shaped not by the years we have lived, but by the choices we make each day. The way we age is not determined solely by our bodies, but by our minds, our spirits, and the way we choose to engage with the world around us. The greatest mistake we can make is believing that life's best moments are behind us, that joy belongs only to the young, or that change is no longer possible. In truth, every day we wake up is another opportunity to grow, to love, to experience, and to create a life that feels just as rich and meaningful as the years that have come before. It is easy to fall into patterns without realizing it, to pick up habits that make life smaller rather than larger. When we become too set in our ways, we lose the possibility of discovery. When we complain more than we express gratitude, we dull our own experience of the world. When we speak more than we listen, we miss the chance to truly connect. When we let friendships slip away, we lose the very relationships that give life color and warmth. When we neglect our health and appearance, we deny ourselves the energy and confidence that allow us to live fully. When we dwell too much on the past, we risk missing the beauty of the present. And when we forget to laugh, to play, to find joy in the small things, we allow life to become heavier than it needs to be. But none of these patterns are permanent. At any moment, we can choose differently. We can choose to remain open to new ideas, to say yes to unfamiliar experiences, to step outside the boundaries of habit and routine. We can choose to shift our focus from what is lacking to what is still abundant, to let gratitude become the lens through which we see the world. We can choose to listen with the same curiosity we once had in our youth, to hear the stories of others and embrace the lessons they bring. We can choose to reconnect with old friends, with new people, with the parts of ourselves that have been forgotten. We can choose to take care of our bodies, not to chase youth, but to honor the life still within us. We can choose to embrace the present, to see it not as a lesser version of the past, but as something uniquely valuable, filled with opportunities that only this stage of life can offer. And above all, we can choose joy, to laugh freely, to let go of unnecessary burdens, to live with a lightness that allows us to fully embrace each day. Aging is not about becoming less, it is about becoming more, more of who we truly are, more accepting, more aware, more engaged. It is a privilege denied to many, and it is up to us to live it well, not by resisting the passage of time, but by walking forward with grace, with curiosity, and with an open heart. Because in the end, life is not measured by the number of years we have lived, but by the way we have chosen to live them. And as long as we are here, there is still time to make it count. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.